continuity of the old series. With the way the costumes and the way the Klingons look, they changed all that. So I was kind of not really inclined to kind of follow that storyline. However, I did see some trailers of the new Star Trek Picard. I was pretty impressed. They're bringing back a lot of the same characters from the Next Generation and also Star Trek Voyager, like 7 and 9. So, and maybe some dream sequences with Data. So, yeah, I'm definitely signing up for CBS All Access just so I could watch Star Trek Picard when it comes out in January.
Well, you know what show I really would like to see back on, and Richard Dean said the same thing. Anderson said that he would love to see Stargate come back, and that even at his age, he would, want to be involved in it. I really missed Stargate. That had a long run, but I think they're doing all these reboots of all these shows. I think right now would be a good time to have Stargate come back.
I would want to see a reboot. I will say Stargate was one of my favorite ones as well, and I was even got to be a fan of the let's see, I'm mixing the two together. The Stargate Atlantis spinoff, and I didn't get too much into the last one, which was Star Trek. See, I'm doing it again. I don't know why I got Star Trek on the mind, but Stargate Universe.
I didn't like that one.
So no, it kind of veered too much from. I just like the original characters. Samantha Carter and Colonel.
I had a crush on her. I had such a...
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah. She, even now at her age, she's beautiful. But, when she first came on that show, when they came on, she was this, a bomb of a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm. I still would like to see, if they do reboots, I still like to see the original characters. I think that's one of the reasons I'm so attracted to watching Star Trek Picard, because it's a continuation of the same characters' lives. The same actors, and that is really I like continuity. And if I can't see it, that's why they kind of obliterated like the Star Trek movies a little bit with this Kelvin timeline. That's just a personal opinion of mine. I would have liked to seen a continuation of how things were before, but obviously as far as I know, they're not making a fourth new type of Star Trek movie.
Yeah, well, there's talks about it, but you know what? Data. I've seen some of these little previews that's been popping up on Facebook and on the internet. I don't know the actor. I'm trying to think his name. It plays Data, but I'll tell you one thing: they look like they really caked on the makeup on him. Really bad.
He aged. Brent Spiner.
Yeah, he aged. For some reason, the guy, the Sir, whatever his name is, that plays Picard, he is older, but how come William Shatner at 97 years old still looks and can still ride a motorcycle, ride horses, and you know what, and still be coherent? And when you see people in their late 70s, they look like like they're ready to die. This guy, one thing I had when I had a guest on who wrote, and he was the only one that wrote about the Star Trek. Originally, when he wrote the book about Star Trek, he had permission by Gene Roddenberry to write the book. So he had all the notes between what Gene Roddenberry, had, the network back and forth, and that's how he wrote his book. But he said that William Shatner had the best work ethic of any actor he ever saw. The guy could be literally sick with the flu, and he was actually doing scenes. And he sat there and told the guy who wrote the God, I can't think of his name. Said that what, the reason why he's not dead and he can still do everything he's doing because he hasn't given up working. So he's working hard, and he said the day I quit doing this is going to be the day I die.
He probably serious too. He does a lot of stuff. I see him on a commercial probably 10 times a day, different commercials, and out riding bikes. Maybe he's using a transporter, going back in time, and he's cutting few years off there, Gary.
I don't know, but have you noticed? You know, he is up in his age, right? But you know what?
Yeah.
Look at other people that age, and they don't look half as good. I mean, he's looking like somebody in his late 60s, and when he's in his 90s.
Well, when they are the most active ones seem to live the longer, and they actually don't look like they aged as much. I mean, activity has a lot to do with it. I mean, I can simply say anybody that now not that they could help it or anything, but how long do people actually live? Let me try this again. How long do people actually last when they go into a nursing home, for instance, where there's not as much activity?
They don't. I watched my grandfather. You know, he retired. He used to work in the machine shop where they used to build the parts for gas stations, you know, the metal buildings and stuff. And,
right.
You know, the day he retired, the next day he was in his easy chair reading about World War II. He lasted about a year because he wasn't active anymore. He was really active working in the machine shop, doing whatever they had to do. When he retired, he just sat in his chair, maybe went out a couple times a week and got coffee. I seen that. I watched my grandmother the same way. When he died, she was taking care of him. When he died, then she didn't live very much longer after that. That's what happens when people don't stay active. You know, oh my God. I mean, there's other people doing what I do that are even younger than me, and I look at them, you know, their pictures up on Facebook, or I listen how they talk. And it scares me because I don't talk like I'm going on 68 years old, and I'm listening to other people in their mid 60s, and they talk like there's somebody that's 80 years old. It's scary.
I know, and you don't even sound like you're anywhere near what you just said. I mean, I'm placing you about 42, 43, somewhere around that age, and I'm not just being kind. I actually mean it. And in the beginning, before I got to know you and all that, and know about the age factor and everything, I thought you were way younger.
Well, you know what? It's because my mind isn't like aged. Maybe I'm slightly retarded, and now I'm equal to somebody that's 40 years old. I don't know. But yeah, I tell you one thing, I keep up with everything, and that's what I find a lot of people don't keep up. Now, changing the subject. I noticed some of the biggest Bigfoot hunters out there, the people who have done Bigfoot researching, is all of a sudden, I'm not going to say who they are, but they kind of flipped from believing that UFOs are not UFOs, but Bigfoot or biological, now thinking they're not. They're paranormal. They're, you know, ghosts or something connected with UFOs. They're not biological. And it's a big shock to see a couple of these people, like Ron Moorhead. He just made the flip.
I got
Ron's good. Ron's a good friend of mine. Yeah. No, he was old school for a long time, and I spent some time with him and of course his wife Kelly. So we've had a chance to talk about a lot of this stuff, and of course he wrote his last book, Quantum Bigfoot. So we had some really interesting discussions along the lines of how they're able to manipulate themselves like that.
Yeah, but now all of a sudden he's gone the other way. And I'm finding a lot of people, James, aren't you seeing that too? Or is it my imagination?
No, I am seeing it, and I'm kind of shocked by it. And what I want to see the meat and potatoes. I want to see what they saw that swayed them, that put them on that side. I want to see their research, their data that made them go, aha, that aha moment they had, that evidence that said, yep, this it's a spirit, it's coming, it's alien, whatever they're thinking. Show me, convince me. That's what I want to know.
Well, you know, all I can say is I saw one, and I don't think it was alien. I don't think it was giving off orbs, and I don't think it was ghostly, and I don't think it was connected with the paranormal. I think it's a biological thing. And like I said earlier in the show, okay, if you're going to go out and get cast of feet from Bigfoot when you're out there hunting them, you know, maybe sacrifice one of the footprints and scoop the soil and put it in a container and have it tested for DNA. Somebody be smart enough and do that, and maybe we can end this whole thing about Bigfoot.
I agree.
I was going to throw. Yeah, I was just going to throw one other thing in there that a lot of reasons why some of the old timers, I don't want to call Ron an old timer, but I mean the ones that were he was part of the team that discovered the Sierra Sounds back a few years.
Yeah,
and what I think turned a lot of people is personal experiences that they've had. They've had these experiences, but kept them to themselves for the very reason of, the acceptance of the community at the time. If you start talking about strange woo-woo things, paranormal related, it can discredit you. But a lot of them come forward because there's a lot more acceptance for that area now.
Well, can I ask you a question? Ghosts. Do ghosts leave footprints? No, they do not.
No.
Okay, so, I mean, if these are ghostly creatures or paranormal, it tells me that then, I just can't buy it. They're biological because, like I was saying earlier on the show, I don't know if you heard me say it, that Bigfoot I encountered up in the Canadian Rockies, right? It wouldn't have had to chase me. It could have just went from point A, where we saw it, to where the car was at. It didn't have to chase me and run.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so it tells me it's biological. And believe me, the smell of it, every time I talk about it, I came and drink my tea now because I can still taste that smell it left. And you know what? And if it was paranormal thing, how would my wife's car got dented up like that? It just wouldn't have happened. So we catch one, and I hate to say it, I got in trouble the other night. I got so many people message me, on Instant Messenger and on emails, but nobody must listen to Speaker app because I get very few people that even go on to the chat unless they can't figure out how to get on it. Which James, it took you a while, didn't it? But anyway. It comes down to this, okay? I think they are flesh and blood. And I hate to say it, we need to find some fur, some bones, or somebody's going to have to do something that we all don't want to happen. We're going to have to get one way or another, and bring proof in.
Right, and I don't think that they're aliens either, because if they were...
Well, if they are, you'll go up in a spaceship. They'll just take you away for murder and drop you out.
I don't think they are.
Well, I tend to agree that they're physical. I mean, I do want to make that point before we get to the break, because a lot of us actually know that they're physical because they leave the footprints, and we've seen the physicality of them. But I think for some reason they have some special abilities that are attributed to paranormal, that they're able to do extra things, and perhaps even go the distance of saying about the access to portals as well. So I'm mentioning that because I don't want to give the impression that we think they're just ghostly images that have no physicality at all. That's not true.
Now, that's what some people are coming up with, and I don't like that. I just, I don't either. But you know what? Maybe some of them have heard the sounds of a Bigfoot and recorded it. But you know what? Unless you actually physically been chased by one and seen one, okay, then you have a whole different idea. Hey, I want to do a big shout out to Karen Banks. I know you're not feeling good right now, but I want to thank you for getting on chat. Again, people, I'm getting all these instant messages on my phone, and it's running my battery dead. I mean, I got dozens and dozens. I got emails from you guys out there tonight listening to the show. Simple. Go on to the Speaker Radio app. Download it. Okay, maybe you don't like the app. Maybe you're listening on iTunes, whatever. Download the app, and you can sit there and ask me questions, or James, or Sam, or when we have the guests on. As simple as that. Now, Sam, are you going to come back on for the last half an hour tonight?
I sure will.
Okay, well, I'm going to cut you, and we're going to get ready to go to break, and, stay out of trouble, will you?
I will. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Okay, you take care.
Bye.
So, anyway, it makes me just wonder about things in general. I do think, Bigfoot are real. I know that UFOs are real. I know that abductions are real. I know that, crop cycle circles are real. I know that abductions where mutilation has been going on with cattle